Hi, welcome to Yellow Slate, your very own school search engine that helps you find the best schools for your kid based on various filters and parameters.
Today we have with us Miss Radhika, who works as an English education expert and pedagogy consultant at Douglas Memorial Higher Secondary School, which is located in Kolkata. To get to know more details about the school and her experience, let's have a conversation with her. Hi, ma'am.
Hello.
So, ma'am, to begin with, you've been teaching for over 35 years now, which is a very great achievement if you ask me. So, what inspired you to become a teacher and how has your journey been so far?
It made me think about something that I have not really given much thought because for me, right from the beginning, it was a given that I'd become a teacher.
Okay.
So, if I were to really think about it, I'd say my mother was my inspiration because she was the principal of a school. And my earliest childhood memories go back to seeing my mother setting out for school every morning. I think what happened was that very subtly, it made its way into my subconscious mind. I idolized her and wanted to be like her. I remember her making very important decisions that had a very profound effect. And so I knew from the very beginning that I wanted to be a teacher. That's all I wanted. There was never any doubts as to anything else. There was really no other option on my mind. And to answer the second part of your question, yes, it's not great. I won't say it's great, but I think it's been extremely rewarding that this entire journey. I think it's the best decision that I have ever taken in my life. And my journey as a teacher has been enriching because I learn every day. I have evolved as a human being. And I continue to learn because I think my best life lessons have come from my interaction with students in the classroom.
Great. So you're not only learning them, you're also training teachers. So can you also talk about how you work training teachers and also about the curriculum development and what do you focus on the most actually?
So now, when I work more with teachers, I begin with the why. The why is the most important. So once you know the why, then the what and the how happen. Why they're educators, why they should take pride in what they do, to make them understand how significant their role is, that they should not think of themselves as merely teachers, merely, quote unquote, merely teachers, but as catalysts for change. That teaching, I've always believed, is not a profession, it's a vocation. And that's what I try to tell all my young teachers. So once the why is established, like I said, the what and the how becomes very easy. Then we discuss the best practices that we can follow. We brainstorm, come up with solutions to problems, and then discuss how to transact them in the class, depending on the grades we are dealing with.
Got it, ma'am. Going to our next question. So what do you
Yes.
find most rewarding, ma'am? Is it training teachers or is it about, teaching to the students, especially in English?
Dealing with students and dealing with adults, it's a completely different
Yeah.
ballgame. I enjoy both because I have taught for so long and always taught senior school. I thought I needed to do something different, and that's why I moved on to teacher training and mentoring. But a 16 or 17-year-old, they have minds of their own. And when I am in the class, I begin by respecting the fact that they have minds of their own, that they are individuals in their own right. And while teaching literature, the stories, the poems, the plays that we teach, they're just an excuse. They're tools to talk about the real world issues. They give me an opportunity, these pieces, literary pieces, give me an opportunity to contextualize, to contemporize the text by drawing parallels that they can recognize. Literature from, say, if I'm doing something from the 17th century, if I'm teaching them Shakespeare, first I begin by telling them why learning Shakespeare is important, because that's a big hurdle. No, students don't want, they say, why Shakespeare? It's outdated, etc. So unless we contextualize and contemporize everything, we will not be on the same page. So that is what I tell them. That is what I begin with. So just as I begin with the why for teachers, I begin with the why even when I'm in the classroom with my students. So we talk about human nature, we talk about goodness, we talk about empathy building. Just as much we talk about the shades of gray in human character, about the general erosion of values that is taking place, about changes in society, about honoring differences, about the need for respectful listening. So I think literature is very rich in that way because it gives you scope to talk about so much about human values, about building patience, resilience, tolerance, about actually real world problem solving. The book is just, the text is only an excuse.
That's a great way to answer, ma'am. What steps should parents take actually to develop allow for actually reading books at their home?
First things first, parents should understand that times are changing very rapidly. So they should stop focusing on only marks. That is a big stumbling block. They should not keep pressurizing their children to just study only for the sake of getting marks. They should encourage them to read, sorry, and monitor the digital content that they're exposed to. Guide them on what they should be watching. They should try and inculcate regular study habits. That's very important. Urging them to read their text regularly, mark out what they don't understand, so that they can clarify their doubts when they're next in class, to complete their home tasks on time, especially written work, without, in these times, resorting to quick fix solutions, AI, the rest of it. So it's very tricky being a parent and being a teacher in these times of artificial intelligence and expecting children to do their work all on their own without resorting to these quick fix solutions.
Got it, ma'am. Ma'am, in today's world, communication is really important, especially learning a particular language. Mainly English is equally important in this corporate world. So what do you think now students should do apart from just reading books? What else can they do to actually develop their speaking skills and learning skills?
When we talk about pedagogy, the first thing that we learned when we were doing our B.Ed is the LSRW. So listening, speaking, reading, writing. It comes in that order. So students should be exposed to the language. They must listen to good podcasts. We must guide them. As teachers, we can guide them. Sometimes they come from backgrounds where they may be first generation English learners. So in that case, we can't really expect parents who have had not much exposure to guide them in the right way. So we as teachers in school, subject specific, we should tell them what to watch, what to read, give them audiovisual content that they can consume after, of course, having gone through it carefully to see that it does not have anything that is objectionable and that it is grade appropriate. Bringing reading back is very important. You said rather than, apart from reading books is very important. There's no other way to go about this exposure than reading. Then even if it's not a physical book, even if they're reading online, even that is all right. But reading exposes you to so much, a world that nothing else can give you. Because the creativity, the sense of creativity comes from giving scope to the imagination. And that will come only when you read.
Going to our next question, ma'am. In today's world of technology, how can students make the best use of technology to actually develop their communication skills in English?
Well, yes, there are a lot of digital tools available. Say, for example, if they are confused about a particular pronunciation, then we have to guide them, teachers have to guide them to use the right websites. They should go on the right websites, get the right information, they should know, we should teach them how to do it. Tap on this, go to British English, because the exposure is mainly American English. Whatever they consume online is mostly American. But our system, we still follow British English. So we tell them, okay, just tap on this to find out what the pronunciation is. And there's so much digital content. I think we need to educate ourselves. We need to check, and then we need to guide them. Go through it carefully and then send them the links. We have our school platforms, we have our WhatsApp groups, all official WhatsApp groups, where we can share content that is suitable for them. And that becomes, that really appeals to them. This generation, because they find reading so cumbersome, for them, anything that is digital appeals much more. So maybe watching a film adaptation, watching a theatrical adaptation of a story, maybe listening to a poem which is, has been recorded by somebody famous, and then you can find them on YouTube. So teachers have to do their homework first. Look at it, search for the right things, and then share it with children.
Got it, ma'am. Ma'am, as person who trains teachers, it's not only students, it's equally teachers in this current world to keep them updated with the current situations day by day. So what do you actually say them? How do you train them to keep themselves updated every day?
Because the NEP and the NCF now talks about competency building. So it's very important that we first train our teachers, that they change the teaching methodology in order that they can have a good interactive class. So I try and speak with the teachers on a regular basis, handholding them and telling them that the right way to handle a class is to ask them the right questions. Ask the children questions, don't give them answers. Make them think, because we are moving away from rote learning and memorization, and we want to build critical thinking skills.
Yeah.
How do we do that if we don't do the same with our teachers? So we have to move away from the traditional methods of just giving them prepared answers in the class, which they can then just somehow memorize and come and write in the class. That's not how it works anymore. Especially the CISC has been following the NEP and the NCF very meticulously, and that's the change we're trying to bring about. So you have to bring that change about in the teacher first, make them understand that this is the need of the hour, and then they transact it accordingly in the class by asking questions and creating a safe space in the class, telling teachers to ask questions. So I try and create a safe space for them to ask me questions so they can replicate that formula and do the same in their classrooms. Ask questions, give the children the comfort, the luxury, and the respect to ask questions and allow for difference of opinion.
Got it, ma'am. Ma'am, can you talk about a new initiative that you have brought to this Douglas School, which has shown a significant change in the whole English education system at Douglas?
Right. It's evolving, right? English education is evolving at Douglas because we are encouraging children to think for themselves. This is not something that can be done overnight. This is very challenging and it will take time. And we can't expect overnight results because this is a paradigm shift we are making. It's very important that children move away, parents understand, all the stakeholders in education. The management understands, as teacher trainers, we understand. Teachers are now convinced, and now we need to convince parents and students that this is the way to go forward. So teachers are taking extra classes, clarifying doubts beyond the classroom, maybe even during break time or after school hours. We're doing our best. Teachers are doing their best. And we need for parents to cooperate and understand that this is the need, this is the need of the times. This is what the future demands. So we are doing our best. Teachers are doing their best. And we give them digital tools. Like I said, that's what we do. We sit down, we all brainstorm, we look for links that we can share with students, and then we do that. So these are new initiatives that we have been taking.
Got it. Ma'am, in a classroom, we have different kind of students. Some are active and some are very shy. So how do you make sure that even these people are being given the equal attention so that they develop the skills and come out of that zone that they are in?
It's a challenge. It's a big challenge when you have 40 students in the class. You try what you try. You identify them. That these are students who are not interacting because they're shy or because they are not confident of themselves. Sometimes they think they will be judged by their peers. Sometimes they think they'll be judged by the teacher and be considered as slow or not intelligent enough. So we try and build trust. That's why I said that, you have to build that place of trust in the classroom. And then you identify these children and ask them questions specifically, bring them forward, change the seating arrangement in a way that those children come and sit in the front. And then because you've identified them, you ask them questions, you encourage them to ask questions. That's what we try to do, differentiated learning, because all children do not have the same abilities. That's true.
That's great, ma'am. So to conclude our interview, if you would like to suggest parents who are looking for best schools in Kolkata, especially Douglas, what would you suggest?
For parents, they must understand that Douglas has mission, it has a vision, and it's for every child, regardless of the socio-cultural background that they might come from, the economic background that they might come from. We encourage everyone to join the school, and they should know that teachers are really trying hard, and they will find a safe space, because there's something very different about Douglas in that students can connect with the teachers. It's a residential school as well, as you already know. So there is scope for students to, we can take them to the reading room, we can sit them down, and we can give them their extra time so that all their doubts can be clarified. So I think Douglas is doing very well, and I think parents should really give it a thought and come and take a look for themselves and see what the kind of good work that is going on here.
It was great interacting with you, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you for joining us and sharing your
Okay.
insights.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.